Today's program is significant and important. As the heading rightly says, Nagaland's Global Footprints, Cultural Diplomacy and International Engagements. This program has been brought together and designed by Honorable Chief Minister, and it will recollect the visit of his that recently took place to two very big, important and significant countries, namely Japan and Russia. Before I get into the presentation, a little background of the event. The Chief Minister was invited to visit Japan by the government of Kochi, the prefecture of Kochi, and also to Russia by the Indian Embassy in the Russian Federation. He visited two countries consecutively and carried out a number of exercises. I'll try to put together in this presentation as quickly as possible and brief as possible, because we'll give enough time to the Honorable Chief Minister to share his thoughts and to elaborate and explain his foreign tours. And I'm trying to make this presentation because we have a glitch in technology and I'm not connected. My laptop or my remote is not connected, so I'm trying to get the controls from up there. So we'll try to get this through by connecting with them. As I said, the visit to Japan and Russia was simultaneous, and it started with a tour of Japan, the three cities of Kochi, Tokyo, and Osaka. Before the Chief Minister arrived in Japan, we had a preliminary team from the Department of Industries and Commerce and IDAN who arrived in Japan ahead of the Chief Minister's visit so that we would do the groundwork, the preliminary preparations. And even ahead of that, for weeks and months, the team at IDAN and the team at Industries Commerce had been working throughout, collaborating, having video conference meetings, series of exercises for this to actually come true. So the advanced team visited Kochi, met with the governor of Kochi, which is equivalent to the chief minister of the state. In Japan, they call their states as prefectures. So we had this collaboration with the Kochi prefecture, and a number of exercises took place before the chief minister's arrival. Some of the highlights can be shown here. I will not elaborate everything, but our team that went there had meetings with the governor, had meetings with the government, visited some of the facilities where our young people would be working, visited the facilities where they're already working, including their workplaces, including their place of stay, because American Naga Manu already tare kaam kori thaka bishi ase, tan actually kinika kaam kori ase, ki condition de ase, kinika gorde buhe, aru tahan la feedback ki ase, itu on ground report mohala officers kan tare jaine loise. MOU was signed between government of Nagaland and the Kochi prefecture. This is the first time in bilateral relationship between Japan and India that a state government has signed an MOU with another state government in Japan. So this itself is historic and significant. You will be happy to know that any MOU that is to be signed by the government with another agency outside of India needs the clearance of the Department of Commerce, Government of India, the Department of Finance, Government of India, and the Ministry of External Affairs. And it must also get the approval of the Indian Embassy of that country. That itself is a long process and it is very bureaucratic in nature, but Chief Minister gave his personal initiative in it. He engaged the Foreign Minister, he engaged the Union Minister, and we could get this MOU cleared in record time. Some of the highlights as elaborated here are to have exchange programs, collaborations, are people going and working there, and technology exchange, agriculture, and a number of other verticals. Myself and the Honorable Advisor for Industries and Commerce were part of the advance delegation, Madam Hekani. So we also carried out our advance meetings, deliberations, so that we could iron out everything before the Chief Minister arrived. Then the Chief Minister arrived and he was warmly welcomed by the Excellency, the Ambassador of Japan to India. A formal reception was held for him, dinner was held for him, and we had fantastic interactions. Now these are some of the photographs of the meetings, the MOUs and the deliberations we had. You will notice that the first time for Nagaland, every meeting of the Chief Minister, every appointment of the Chief Minister engagement was held in the Embassy of India. not in a hotel room, not in his in a conference room outside, but everything was held in the Embassy of India with the support of the ambassador and with the support of the government of India. Every meeting was vetted by the government of India and approved by the government of India for this to take place. This itself is very significant. In the past, we've had very high-level delegation visits to outside the country, but this type of mandate and this type of high-level meetings were for the first time, and we must congratulate the Chief Minister for having achieved this. One of the highlights you'll see in the right corner with Toshio Honda, the legendary animator. That person, the bearded guy who looks like a Kung Fu King Kong master, is actually a legend throughout the world. He's a legend in animation, in creativity, innovation, and in art. The founder of a character called Doraemon. A lot of our kids watch it, I myself watch it. So the creator of Doraemon, Toshioki Honda, a legend in Japan and around the world. When he goes to America, when he goes to China, he gets mobbed by people. And he came all the way to the Embassy of India to meet the Chief Minister, share his thoughts, and even did some artwork with the Chief Minister, autographed his artwork and gave it to the Chief Minister. In fact, even Japanese officials and former members of parliament, our Indian embassy who were there, were surprised and shocked that this person was in the Indian embassy meeting the Chief Minister when so many people wanted to meet him and it was so difficult to get even a photograph with him. So we exchanged ideas on how to build the animation industry in Nagaland, how we can collaborate. So some of the details which Chief Minister will of course explain later. We had the signing of the MOU with Kochi Prefecture, with the Sasakawa Peace Foundation. The Sasakawa Peace Foundation is one of the most reputed NGOs in Japan, highly influential, political rooted, and in future, Chief Minister has discussed with them how we can collaborate, and I think Chief Minister is already discussing with them how we can have exchange programs at the leadership level with legislators, with MLAs of both sides, how we can have exchange programs this year and in the coming year. Next, we went to Osaka after Japan. Osaka, we went to World Expo. World Expo is 174 years old. 174 years ago, World Expo was launched. Japan's destiny changed after they first hosted their first Expo 70 years ago in Osaka. The World Expo is coming back to Japan after 70 years. After hosting World Expo 70 years ago in Osaka, Japan's economy, Japan's future changed, and they propelled themselves into becoming the second largest economy of the world until just 3 years back. For Nagaland, it was significant because in more than 60 years of statehood, Nagaland has not reached the World Expo. It was for the first time in the history of our state that Nagaland was projected at World Expo to an international community, to an international audiences. Chief Minister was warmly welcomed, as you can see. He gave the keynote address in a special session on Nagaland. I was privileged to give a presentation on Nagaland, its investment and tourism opportunities, and we took a tour of the World Expo, visited the Japan pavilions and various pavilions, and it was a huge honor for Nagaland as a whole. I think it's an achievement, not only for the Chief Minister, but for all citizens of Nagaland, that we were on the World Expo, we were recognized, and we were acknowledged. From then, we moved to Russia. Now, Russia, under the present geopolitical scenario, is having unique and special circumstances. Mogan Japan that actually, Japan, Russia, Jabo Nimide, try Kurado, Ekta airline be, Ekta airport Rabi, Mohan Japan de connect Kurona Pare. Because of Ukraine and Russia war, and so many international and Western countries having sanctions against Japan. So no foreign airline, no Western airline, even big airlines in Asia were not connected with Japan. Japan with Russia. Russia the international sanctions dusra citizens bhi jao na pare, credit card bhi ekta bhi kam na pare, everything cash parai pare. So under those circumstances, from Japan, Chief Minister had to fly all the way back to Delhi, and because India doesn't have sanctions with Japan, India and Russia are connected. So Chief Minister and his delegation got all the way back to Delhi, and from Delhi, within 12 hours, flew to Moscow again. It was a huge intercontinental travel that we had in a space of 24 hours. In Russia, we did two cities, the capital, that is Moscow, and the cultural and the melting pot of Russia, that is St. Petersburg. Some of the highlights. Now, the background of this visit also needs to be understood by us. In this geopolitics of the world right now, Russia is an isolated country because of the war. But India, under Prime Minister Modi, is having a special and strategic relationship with Russia. In Russia, India did not have sanctions, and it was an open relationship. Because of the relationship that goes back 30, 40 years from the time of the non-aligned movement, and when Western countries had imposed sanctions on India, when India was undergoing food crisis and having enormous internal security problems, it was Russia who came to our rescue. And since then, we call the relationship between Russia and India as special and strategic. Aro aji tahan war kurea de India wala tahan lo partner kurea, tahan lo trade deal thagane. Indians are very well appreciated in Russia wherever we went. Not only as Nagaland, but wherever we went, Russians appreciated the role that India is doing, the role that Prime Minister Modi is doing with the Russian counterparts. You are aware that India is buying oil, India is buying energy reserves from Russia, and we are having diplomatic relationship. In that context, we must also understand that there is a huge political geopolitics shift between the North and the Global South. The Global South is being powered by BRICS, where India and Russia are the two main countries. It is in this context that Prime Minister Modi wants to strengthen India-Russia relationship. That's why Bharat Utsav in Moscow, a collaboration between government of India and the Moscow government. Tate amikhan ekta itu laga bhari bujibo lagatu of all the chief ministers of all the states in India. The government of India invites our chief minister to be the chief guest in the closing function. Union Minister bhi matibo pare, Foreign Affairs Minister bhi matibo pare, but Government of India tahan wisdom de aru tahan strategy de Nagaland laga Chief Minister ge invite kuri gene closing function de taike chief guest kurobo dearu it is significant ase khali tai laga naam nohoy Naga manu sob laga naam ase. Russia is the biggest country in the world. Even after the breakup of the Soviet Union in 1991, where 15 countries broke away from the Soviet Union, like Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Moldova, Georgia, 15 countries broke away from Russia. But till today, they are still the biggest country in the world. East to west, Russia travel kurishe gule 11 time zone cross kure. Trans-Siberian Highway Railway from Moscow to Siberia takes 16 days. It's a big, big country, the biggest country in the world. Itu niga Russia or India la cooperation de amahan laga chief minister tare chief guest korado ami bi tare thagi gene iman khushi paise iman pride joy paise chuli bi khara hoise etu situation de dikhi gene aru iman gorom reception warm reception thaga. Chief minister was a chief guest. He joined the Indian ambassador at a closing ceremony. Aru closing ceremony de duita state he highlight hoise cultural event etu 9-day festival do Gujarat aru Nagaland. Opening performance to Gujarat kurise tahan 15-20 minute nishna loise aru itu bisne Nagaland delegation amahan la cultural ambassadors who are seated here, they gave an excellent emotional and powerful performance for 45 minutes. For 45 minutes the audience was spellbound, enjoyed the show, and we even shocked the audience. Indian state, Indian delegation, Indian culture tan kiba ekta expect kudhage. But amahan nishna manu naga manu totally different. War dance, war cry, cultural performance, mona textiles, mona traditional clothes khan sado. India re iniga bhi ase. Koi gene idu tahan bhi shock khaise. Idu performance to kote hoise. Red Square in Moscow, one of the most iconic and important addresses on the globe, next to the Kremlin, and thousands of people watching every day. In the midst of that, we also had our Nagaland Pavilion, Industries and Commerce promoted Made in Nagaland, Tourism Department Secretary Saab Kuan Nishna, Nagaland Tourism ke Moihan promote Kurishe. Tafma performed, Sir was a chief guest, Indian cultural troupe, and that is the lady between the ambassador and chief minister is the representative of the Moscow government. Itula next din there, another very significant thing is chief minister visited the headquarters of Russia today. one of the biggest international media networks which Russia uses. We also watch it a lot. And he did an exclusive interview with the Chief Minister in the studios of Russia Today. We had an interactive session, sharing of ideas, and we're looking forward to also Russia Today launching its branch office in New Delhi in the coming weeks. These are some of the glimpses of our pavilion, which was done by the Moscow government. Nagaland tourism, our Minister Saab our team Nagaland promote Kurishe. And then we went to St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg is the cultural hub and the melting pot of Russia. A visit to Russia is not complete if you don't do St. Petersburg. He was given a warm welcome by the Indian Consul General, Madame Neelam Rani, and also he met the most important person in that government. That is the Vice Governor of the St. Petersburg, which means the Deputy Chief Minister, but the head of foreign relations of that state. And Chief Minister discussed a number of agendas with him. I'm sure he will elaborate on that. And it was a very successful meeting. Again, for the first time that an official delegation from Nagaland, led by the Chief Minister, touching base in St. Petersburg, one of the historic cities of Europe and the world, and a place where the whole world comes as a melting pot. Bishi interesting exciting experiences with Chief Minister share Rati nohoy, din nishna nohoy, but I'm sure CM will elaborate on that. Let's have the So Mohan St. Petersburg I must appreciate the Chief Minister because he took time out to visit some of the historic churches and cathedrals. Aru amigan church te Indian embassy bara arrange kurigene amigan church te jaigene pratna bi kurise amigan la manu nimire state nimire peace nimire CM bara lead kole. We lit candles and we said a word of prayer. Chief Minister said, we have come all the way here. There are churches and cathedrals and places of worship which go back hundreds of years, historic, and has shaped the religion, Christianity. It has shaped the history of the world. And he said it's important that we go to these places and pray for our people. So we went and prayed along with him. I must appreciate and thank the wisdom and experience of Chief Minister in taking us there. And some of the key highlights, outcomes of this visit, I must say, is institutional cooperation and collaboration with others, promotion of Nagaland as an investment and tourism destination, cultural diplomacy and cultural exchanges, promotion of brand Nagaland, Naga soft power to the international community, creating opportunities for our youth, and most importantly, our people, our citizens, our youth, contributing towards the nation-building process of the country. Through their participation, through our participation, through Chief Minister being there as a chief guest on behalf of the country, Nagaland is contributing towards the nation-building of India. Nagaland is contributing towards the rise of India in the international community. So, thank you very much. That's the last picture of the cultural troupe as we close the event. I think this is very significant. This tour was very successful. Our Chief Minister needs to be congratulated for the vision, the foresight, taking Nagaland to the international community. Nagaland is a small state, just above 16,000 square kilometers, just above 2 million people. One of the smallest states, far corner of the northeastern boundary between India and Myanmar. But though we are a small state, I think we can take pride in the fact that under the Chief Minister's leadership, we punch above our weight. We perform bigger than our size. And that's because we have leadership, vision, resilience, perseverance, and courage. Today, sir, under your leadership, young Nagas, be it in music, be it in sport, and all other verticals, there's a newfound confidence, there's a newfound courage, and we're ready to take on the world. Thank you very much. God bless. Kugnali.
Thank you, sir.